And now transmitting on a science frequency of 107.9 megacycles from the GJRB network in beautiful downtown Clinton, Iowa. It's the Gary Russen program on Talk FM 108. And now your host, Gary John Russen.
And hello everyone, hello everywhere across America and around the world. Welcome to the Gary Russen program on GJRB online on Spreaker. Yeah, we're here. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Got a great show this afternoon. Hope you'll stay with me. We've got some really neat stuff along the way here on GJRB Online. I hope you'll stay with me throughout the afternoon for some great internet talk radio on the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. It's our Freestyle Friday edition. That means anything goes, like it was on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? No, Wednesday. Sometimes this is what happens. I always seem to lose track of my days for some reason. Don't ask me why. I just happen to lose track of my days. And I don't know. It just, I don't know. I got a lot of days and a lot of stuff going on. So, I just forget what day it is. So today's Friday, but I had a live broadcast last night to test everything and to make sure everything was working in its proper order. And checking things out, and to my surprise, my test show, just make sure everything's working, but a kind of a preview of what was going to be on today, just in case, like I said, was going to happen, and that was I wasn't going to be able to go on the air on my 9-foot closed circuit signal today as early as I wanted to. But we're going to be on the air again with that on Tuesday, so we'll make up for that. Just had some stuff to do in the morning. While they were doing, I had to prepare for it. I had to bring stuff in, like my bike and my wife's the plants and various things like that, because they were doing is power washing our building. They do that. I don't know how often, but they have some people come around and they power wash our building. And you had to bring some of your stuff in, like, plants, my bike, chairs, stuff like that. But I didn't bring all of them in because there's no room in this apartment for everything. We had our lawn chairs back here and our picnic table. But they seemed to didn't care, so I didn't either. I mean, really. I mean, a little bit of washing of that picnic table wasn't going to hurt anything. Being said, that picnic table probably needed it. True. But anyway, we got a great show this afternoon. I hope you'll stay with me for the best in internet talk radio on the Gary Russen program here on Spreaker. And if you like our program, I'd love to hear from you today. Hit that like button. Always glad when we get a like button hit. Oh, I do. I love it. And anyhow, looks like that failed to send. I sent an email over to the Weather Underground, and it doesn't look like they got my message. But oh well, needless that I care. Whether I like Weather Underground, mind you, but they are really weird about logging in. Now, Weather Underground, I think, is the only one that is doing that, unless other ones are doing that. I consistently have to change my password with them. It's like every combination of numbers, and I guess they're being very secure about it or something. But every time I go in there, I have to flip my password around or something. And I got to come out with different password combinations, or they won't let me in. It's just like really stupid. That's why I like it, but then I don't, because every time I clean the computer, I lose and I have to get back in, and they got something in there that, I don't know, they need to fix it. So I always use the Weather Channel, the Weather Channel site, which I do like. But Weather Nation, I like the fact that I can get instant temperatures from different parts of the country and be able to, do that. Got a great show this afternoon, by the way. I hope you'll join me. We're going to be talking about a lot of interesting things. So, a lot of, stuff in the news and a lot of stuff going on. And we're going to do a lot of that today. Find some interesting stories along the way, too, as we scroll through social media. We always do that on the Gary Russen program, especially on our Friday shows. And find news stories as they break, or finding interesting stories along the way posted by a lot of our Spreaker followers, or rather some of my Facebook followers. News stories from Twitter, which I get quite a bit. And various things like that. I find all kinds of neat stuff when I scroll on through social media. So I kind of like doing that. It's one of my favorite segments on this program. It's fabulous. It's one of my all-time favorites. And it's just that you get a nice variety of news stories. So I picked that and use those along the way, but I still do news stories. I have a birthday celebration to pass along. I have one belated and one today. A former college friend, she was at one time a member of our broadcast club. Should have sent her my podcast numbers, but unfortunately I forgot to do that. By the way, this show is available also on Spotify. So if you are listening on Spotify, welcome. You can listen to this show on Spotify or here on Spreaker. You can also listen on my Twitter page. Okay, just go into Twitter. I am the Radio Maniac. You'll see the posting there. It's the Antique Radio emblem with GJRB Online. And it'll come up with the widget. And that widget, you can listen to the show there. Very simple, like. It's just, where else can I tell you? It's just, you just listen to the widget. Or get the widget. So, there you go. Got a lot of really neat stuff to pass along for you this afternoon. Some really interesting stuff. Some fascinating stuff going along here. So we're going to get ready to do it. Get ready to do the show. And I hope you'll stay with me this afternoon. The Gary Russen program. A little past the hour, about 8 minutes past 3 Central Daylight Time, and it's time to take a look at the news. So we're going to go into my Facebook page, which I should have open by now. I'm going to do that. You can even get me on Facebook in the Messenger. And when you get into the Messenger, if you're a follower of me on Facebook, just get into the Messenger and hit that call button, and I'll put you on the air. And you can go on the radio, so that's pretty cool. You can also contact me. I need to pull that up. My Skype. And I am Gary.Russen on Skype. You can contact me on Skype and call me there. Skype always sounds good. They've improved. I really like them. And I can put the callers on the air from Skype. And it's just a great place to... get phone calls on. And, of course, if you don't like to be on the radio, you just get into the Twitter page. And like I said, it'll take you right into my Spreaker public site. It'll take you right into my chat room. So you can get in there and talk to me directly in the chat room. I have mine open, my page here. As you know, I take local breaks on my 9-foot signal, so if it gets silent here for a while, that means we are on a break. let's do a brief look at the news, okay? And yesterday, this went on top of my head. I know this story like the back of my hand because I started this yesterday. Well, surprisingly, Sara Huckabee Sanders stepped down yesterday. As press secretary. And you have to wonder about that. She must have had I kind of wonder about the reason behind that. Listening to some commentaries by the left-wing media who won't miss her like a hole in the head. But in my personal opinion, I thought she was good. I liked her. I mean, she supported the president despite all she had to tolerate these reporters. I always felt bad for her. She had to tolerate these reporters because they were, Dukas, because all they ever did was slam her. They made her look awful up there at times. And I kind of wonder, why is it, and I don't think I'd ever wanted that job. Being a press secretary, I don't think I'd want that job. That just, even though I am in the media kind of myself, that job would just not be for me. That just too much tolerating the left wing ruckus that she had to put up with, and she had to put up with a lot. Trust me. She was. She said yesterday that she was honored by being there, and this was her departing words.
Sara Huckabee Sanders, and she's very popular. She's very popular at the White House, and been with me now 3.5 years before I won, before the election. Is a person, a friend, a woman, a great, magnificent person, actually. Named Sara Huckabee Sanders, and she's very popular. She's very popular, and she's done an incredible job. We've been through a lot together, and she's tough, but she's good. You also have tough and bad, right? She's tough and she's good. She's great. And she's going to be leaving the service of her country, and she is going to be going, I guess you could say private sector, but I hope she comes from a great state, Arkansas. That was a state I won by a lot, so I like it, right? But we love Arkansas, and she's going to be going back to Arkansas with her great family. Her husband is a fantastic guy, and her family. And I don't know, Phil and folks, if we can get her to run for the governor of Arkansas, I think she'll do very well. And I'm trying to get her to do that. But I just saw her in the room, and I really wanted to call her up. She is a special person, a very, very fine woman. She has been so great. She has such heart. She's strong, but with great heart. And I want to thank you for an outstanding job. And thank you. Come. Thank you, honey.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll try not to get emotional because I know that crying can make us look weak sometimes, right? This has been the honor of a lifetime, the opportunity of a lifetime. I couldn't be prouder to have had the opportunity to serve my country, and particularly to work for this president. He has accomplished so much in these 2.5 years, and it's truly been something I will treasure forever. It's one of the greatest jobs I could ever have. I've loved every minute, even the hard minutes. I have loved it. I love the president. I love the team that I've had the opportunity to work for. The president is surrounded by some of the most incredible and most talented people you could ever imagine. And it's truly the most special experience. The only one I can think of that might top it just a little bit is the fact that I'm a mom. I have 3 amazing kids, and I'm going to spend a little more time with them. And in the meantime, I'm going to continue to be one of the most outspoken and loyal supporters of the president and his agenda. And I know he's going to have an incredible 6 more years and get a whole lot more done, like what we're here to celebrate today. And I don't want to take away from that. So I certainly want to get back to the tremendous thing that the people behind me have done. And thank you so much, Mr. President. It's truly an honor.
Fabulous. Yeah. Fabulous. And she said it right at the point. Absolutely fabulous. Great short speech there. Saying thank you for the president. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of reporters that'll miss her like a hole in the head. But when you really think about it, and it's only because she kind of gave him a hard time a lot of times. She did. She wasn't too kind to some of those reporters when they kept on asking stupid questions, So I wish her a lot of luck in her next endeavor, and I hope that whatever she does it well. We'll continue on with the show here. You're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online, and glad you could be with me this afternoon. Coming up here, I got another interesting story that I think is interesting anyway. We got a couple of them. Coming up, New York is going to set to cut religious exemption to vaccine mandates. That's coming up. 2 tankers were hit by a torpedo in the Gulf of Oman. Attacks amid simmering on U.S. and Iran. So there's like a U.S. and Iran's been kind of teetering. And a mother was arrested for helping her son. She entered a school confronting her son's bullies. So she got arrested for that. I have to say something about that later. Governor J.B. Pritzker has signed a bill to expand abortion protection in Illinois. Some of these stories and some of the opinions coming up throughout the afternoon here on the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and glad you could be with me today. Also, celeb birthdays. We'll have our other birthdays. We do have a birthday to celebrate, one belated, one going on today. So we'll have that on. And direct that podcast over to a friend of mine. Her name is Amanda Mosier. She was a member of our broadcast club at the Blackhawk College. And she's having a birthday today. So we're going to wish her a happy birthday. With our happy birthday music and celebrities celebrating birthdays with her. So we'll do that coming up a little later. And along with that, a lot of really good stuff. We'll talk about the weather on the 5s. We'll have a complete weather on the 5s update from our friends at the Weather Nation coming up next hour. Some more storms headed into here in the Midwest. Man, what's going on with these storms? And how about this? Central Pennsylvania had a 3.4 earthquake the other day. In Cleveland just had one over the weekend, right? I really don't have a cough box, so all I do is just turn down my microphone. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Anyhow, so we're going to talk about that. That's bizarre. And I was saying yesterday, if I would have lived in Cleveland and that happened when I was going to Ohio School of Broadcasting, I'd be scared. Well, no. But like I said, I guess Pittsburgh could have an earthquake. I mean, really. I mean, could you imagine? Good grief. I just can't even picture that. Because I grew up and was told that there would be no earthquake. There's no earthquakes on the eastern side of the United States. Earthquakes are only common in California. So, again, you can't really blame anybody for lying to me because I could have looked that up myself. But there you go. I'm not saying anybody lied to me or nothing like that, but, you have to think maybe perhaps all of a sudden, and again, earthquakes in diverse places. And that would include the eastern United States, diverse place, right? And I was even told there was a fault line coming right through here, Clinton, Iowa. So, I mean, this, it's something to really think about. We'll be talking about that this afternoon. And your comments are welcome here on the Gary Russen program. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I'm always glad that you could join me. We got a great show. Freestyle Friday, playing around with different things, just having a whole heck of a lot of fun, and you can be part of it. It's just like Rush Limbaugh's Open Line Friday. Any topic is up for free game here. Anything is open for, full anything. So join me in the chat room. We'll have a good time and talk about all kinds of various stuff here on the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online and on Spreaker on a beautiful afternoon, kind of overcast skies. We'll take a look at the weather coming up next. Weather on the 5s on GJRB Online Network.
You hear great jazz on GJRB with the best of jazz, up-and-coming jazz, and smooth afternoon.
If you can't get enough of jazz and you live in the Quad Cities area, tune in to KALA, St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa, at 88.5 on the FM dial. Along with some of that great smooth jazz, you'll hear a lot of great jazz programming.
And programming in other great music formats.
Like blues, urban, including rap. Also classic R&B and Motown with David Baker on Rewind, Friday nights at 6 p.m. Central. In addition, you get programming in Spanish and some great gospel programming too. For more information and DeWitt.
It'd be a good idea to turn my microphone on, wouldn't it now? Anyway, I'll try that again. Thank you for joining me here on the Gary Russen program here on Spreaker across America. Take a look at our weather on the 5, so we'll start that over again. I don't know. I don't know what happens when I get flipped out here a little bit. So kind of be patient with me. Some more severe weather coming to the Midwest. Yeah, that's what they're saying. As a matter of fact, they're reporting that we're going to get some more storms in some of the lower and upper Midwest. And so we're going to do that right now. I'm going to take a look at that for the weather on the 5s from the National Weather Service. So we're going to kind of pop into that for a minute and take a look at that. Matter of fact, let's see here. Yeah, severe thunderstorms are expected, capable of damaging winds, large hail, heavy rainfall, and a few tornadoes are possible in the central and southern plains and upper Midwest both today and tomorrow. Heavy rainfall may be leading to a possibility of some flooding. So we're going to take a look at some of those areas that are going to get hit. We're going to watch Weather Nation next hour, and I'll give you a rundown of what those are going to be. But some of those areas are going to be capable of getting some severe weather. And it's overcast today, but not really all that bad in front of our studios. I mean, it's cold. It's unusually cool today, but I'm going to have to do a radio switch in the break. Anyway, because this old radio, I'll tell you about it later. I had to break the antenna off, and because it was just not, it was, I'll tell you about it later. Anyway, focus, Rustin. So I will tell you about it coming up. but I get a lot of static. So from that radio, and I'm going to have to flip radios because the antenna is not strong, and I'm going to have to see what I can do to fix it. Anyway, these shenanigans keep going. You're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. Got a great program lined up for you today, and I hope you'll tune in, and we'll chat about some things. This radio, I have had trouble receiving a lot of stations on it. It's an old radio. It's a one with a cassette on it. My wife got me a number of years ago, and we lived across the way over here. And the radio worked good for me for a lot of years. Picked up a lot of stations on it, and then what happened was it just kind of wore out. But whatever the case may be, I've used it for quite a bit. But it needs to be retired as a monitor. So I'm going to probably be flipping radios and using a different one as a monitor because this one has just about had it. And so we'll just keep on top of... so as soon as I get through the next break and we get the news on and everything, I run some spots locally, I'm going to flip radios because it needs to be flipped. Definitely. Let's take a look at the news here, and we're going to do that right now. Some of the stories we're covering for you, as you will know, I had during the news today. Sara Huckabee Sanders is not going to be the press secretary anymore. She stepped down yesterday. President Trump gave her an honorable goodbye. We'll have that story. Also coming up, torpedoes, relations between us and the Iran is not doing very good. Some torpedoes hit one of our ships, and we'll have that story coming up this hour. And other news from our GJRB news desk from scroll through social media and some of the news stories that are being picked up.
At prairiehills.com. Prairie Hills of Clinton, 1701 13th Avenue North, phone 243-6870.
News and information at the bottom of the top of an hour from the GJRB News Desk and the KROS Information Center, daily on Talk FM 108.
And I'm back on the air, the Gary Russen program on GJRB on Spreaker across America. Thanks a lot for tuning into the program. Always glad you could join me. Got a lot of great stuff to talk about here as we continue the Gary Russen program. And we're going to get into a lot of interesting stuff today. And I hope you'll stay with me for all that good stuff. The GRP here and freestyle on a freestyle Friday edition, just playing around and having fun and talking with you. Open lines, open phones, open that. With, of course, Skype, Gary.Russen. And you can listen to the show also on Spotify. It's available there. You can join me there. And I will post the Spotify site for you here. And try to let you know that where we're at here. And I usually check my Spreaker here to see if there's anybody out there listening to the broadcast and see what we've got in programming today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I know that I'm just trying to achieve a little purpose here. And what I'm doing is seeing if I can... separate my show in hours. In other words, what I'm doing is I am making it so that, like I said before, part 2 will start at hour 2. Okay, part 3 will start in hour, you know what I'm saying? That's how I'm doing that. Part 3 will be the final part, and that will be at 5 o'clock. And I want to just separate so that maybe perhaps I could break up and make a 45-minute last an hour. That's what I'm doing. But so far, I have not been achieving this very well. So I don't know. I think that maybe perhaps I'm going to have to just do what I do and wait for the 3-hour plan, which I'm hoping I can get at the top of the next month. But anyway, as of for now, I'm just doing it this way. I'm just going to break up my 45 minutes, and it runs out because I have, 7 minutes left to go before I go into the next break. So I'm looking at it saying, well, I might have to flip over again and start that bit over again. It'll have this will run out in 14 minutes. So it'll be maybe, 14 minutes. Just kind of guessing here. This would run out in about 14 minutes. About 14 and a half, a little less than that. So I'm looking at that saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do. With that, 38. We started this back up at, I'm going to say, I'm gandering here because we just came back after a break. So, let's see here. Okay, that is about correct. 3:35:17 I came back on. So like that. So I'm thinking 14 minutes, 10, that's 40, another 10 minutes is 49, plus 4 more minutes is, I'd say close to 6 minutes to the hour. So we're pretty close. I mean, it'll end. And the last segment will be the weather on the 5s and some spots, and then we'll start all over again with a new segment at the top of the hour. But that's probably a lot more minutes, about maybe 40 minutes of wasted time, because I'm going to flip again. So I don't know yet. I want to see what happens with this segment. And we might next hour going to do a 50 minutes of nonstop talk, and while I try to figure this out, because tomorrow I'm going to do it a little differently tomorrow. I'm trying to achieve this 45-minute plan and try to expand 45 minutes into an hour. And all I need is that extra 15 minutes to finish, and just not getting anywhere with this. Trying to achieve this thing. So I'm just going to keep on playing around with it today. So coming up next hour, we're going to do 50 minutes of non-stop talk and music and stuff. We're going to throw some tunes in. And whether we're on Spotify or not, I'm just going to play whatever I want. This is a freestyle show. So anything is fair game. So I'm hoping maybe perhaps we get some listeners, and I think whenever I go down and up and down and up, I just lose listeners. And it's because of the 45-minute, because I can't stretch this 45 minutes into an hour and be able to talk continuously. I'm going to have to go back to something else because this isn't working. But we'll still do it this way. But that would be like on tight days. Now, normally a weekday, like Tuesday, when we do a show on Tuesdays, it's a tighter day. So I usually have more show prep time for that show. This is a more off the cuff like it was on Wednesday. So it's going to be like that, more or less, off the cuff. Now, tomorrow's going to be the same way. And tomorrow we're going to be on the air at 3 o'clock Central. I'm going to have a guest on, and that's going to be, hopefully have a guest on. Ben Osman will be joining us. And he's going to be, I guess he's on a trip over to Niagara Falls. So this ought to be interesting. I'm hoping that he'll be able to do it yet. But we're going to see what happens. I'm going to get a hold of him tonight and see if we can confirm it. And then I will post something on my Spreaker public site, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. Why do I say Google+? I think Google+ doesn't exist anymore. But I am, supposedly, from what I understand, someone told me that I'm on, and I can't get into it. How do you get into Google Podcast, because I would think I'd be able to get in this. I'm going to have to try to figure that one out. Anyway, your chance to get in on the show anyway, and if I am being heard on Google Podcast, you guys can do the same. All you got to do is get in Twitter. I am the Radio Maniac. And when you get in there, you'll see the Antique Radio emblem, GJRB online next to it. You'll see the widget pop up. And when you see the widget pop up, you just go in there and it'll take you right. You just click the title, and it'll take you right into my Spreaker chat room on the program. You'll see the live broadcast there with a nice little line going across, and you can type right there and drop in and say hi. Love to hear from you this afternoon. Anybody out there? We had, I just understood that I was on Google Podcast yesterday because I was talking with Caramel Conservative last night when I was doing the preview of this program. I did a preview podcast last night for about maybe 38, maybe 30, 40, almost 40 minutes. And he told me that that possibly I am on also Google Podcasts. So it would be kind of interesting to see that. I mean, wow, check that out. And maybe somebody I might be found there. So, and like I said, I'm also on Spotify. So anybody listening on Spotify, that's where you can find me. And if you are a Facebook follower, or just friend me on Facebook, and you get in there and you get into the chat room and you hit that call button, and it'll ring in the Spreaker Studios, and you can I'll put you on the air. Kind of fun. I like doing that because I like to see how many people are out there listening. Really do. It's kind of interesting. All right, tell you what we're going to do right now. I'm going to take another program break, and then when I return, we're going to crank up 50 minutes of nonstop talk. That's what we're going to do. 50 minutes total nonstop talk coming up next right here on GJRB Online. And we'll have more news. Scroll through social media coming up next hour. And birthday. So stay tuned for that. Right here on GJRB Online here on Spreaker as we continue the Freestyle Friday edition of the Gary Russen program here on Spreaker. Hang in there. Be right back. Got more to come on GJRB. Green onions. Look out there for Blake who might be listening. You never know. Green onions and Booker T and the MGs on GJRB. Yeah, you know it. I love it. Tell you what we're going to be doing. We're going to be flipping over at the top of the hour And I'm going to start 50 minutes of non-stop talk and music and stuff like that today. And we got a lot of really good stuff coming your way. I hope you'll keep it here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker across America. Wherever you may be listening, wherever you're tuning into, hope you'll stay with me for the best in internet talk radio on the Gary Russen program. Yeah. Oh, ha-ha, you know it. Glad you could be with me this afternoon. Got weather on the 5s coming up very shortly. Do some sports too. I'm trying to get my sports page back up. It's like, I don't know, I'm looking for someone who knows about sports a little better than me and would like to do a sports talk show. So, like I said, leave me a message in my Spreaker chat room if you'd like to do a sports talk show with me. Love it. Try to get Huber, because he knows a lot about like wrestling and stuff. That'd be pretty wild. So it's just something to think about, yeah. Gary Russen program on the air here on GJRB Online on a Friday afternoon freestyle edition of the Gary Russen program. Tomorrow we'll be on the air with the Saturday Extra. My guest Ben Osman Osan, I think he knows some sports. How about what's that hockey team now that won the Stanley Cup? Oh darn, what's the name of that hockey team that won the Stanley Cup? Ooh, let me say, don't want that on yet. Okay, we already don't want that. Don't want that. Thank you. Kind of like talking to our dot. Anyway, so if there's anybody out there who is a sports fanatic who knows a little bit about sports than me, although I do follow sports but not that closely, I'm trying to, and would be willing to do a sports talk show on Spreaker right here with me, Gary J, just let me know. Drop me a line. Love to hear from you about that. So if you are interested in doing a sports talk show, let me know, okay? All right. Tell you what we're going to do right now. We're going to get ready because we'll be flipping. And when we flip over, I'm going to mark that in the log book. Is part 2 is going to start. Let's see, we got about 2:50 left this hour. So that's going to end it at 56, probably. 4 minutes shy of the top of the hour. So what we might do is do weather on the 5s and then wrap up this part. And then we'll do part 2. So I am going to rig it that way. And try the next hour, 50 minutes of nonstop talking music and stuff. And try to rig this up and see what we can do with it. Trying to stretch out 45 minutes into an hour with this Spreaker is not easy, folks. Gotta tell you. Just trying to achieve something here or other. But it ends with my breaks here like 4 minutes shy of the top of the hour. Let's see, about 2 minutes left. Okay, so it'll end at 57. So let's do weather on the 5s right now. Let's do that. Let's do weather on the 5s. Give you some national temperatures across America from Weather Underground. Tampa, Florida right now, 83 degrees and cloudy right now. Manhattan, New York, 69 degrees. 67 in Los Angeles and cloudy. Back home in Ambridge, 69 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Cleveland, Ohio, where they had that earthquake, down 69 degrees and sunny. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, 77, checking in, partly cloudy skies, but they are windy. We are here too, actually. We've got some wind blowing here. In fact, I had to knock my wife's lily plant over, and so I had to move it over because it wasn't going to stay up there. Washington, D.C., 73 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Cleveland, actually here in Clinton, Iowa, right now, 76 degrees at Mayer Farms. Just not far from us up the hill at Eagle Point Park, where the current temperature, once again, 76 degrees. Weather on the 5s, 25 and 25 and 45 minutes past the hour on all music shows, 25 and 55 on all talk shows on GJRB Online. And looking at it, it looks like we will be ending out here at 57:20. 57:20 will go out. So that would be taking a break here. 57:20, we're going to flip and be right back. Got more Gary Russen program coming your way next on the GJRB online network here on Spreaker. Glad you could be with me today. Hang on. We'll be right back in milliseconds.